What's up, my party people? It is D to the J with a roll away. And yes, once again, I'm broadcasting in my new location and wanted to come to you live and actually spend some time with you on a topic that was recently brought to my attention, but it was something that I wanted to do for a long time. I I wanted to do this a while back, but I was trying to figure out how to plan it with everything else. And with all the stuff that I've got going on with you know, moving rooms around and everything just one right after the other, trying to get everything moved in and my room the way I want it. Um, there were things that this video I had to sort of get my life in order before I could do it. So I guess my question to you is, when you look at your life and where you are, what, hey Cindy, hey Kim, what's really stopping you from doing what you want to do? Um, we've got all these plans and dreams that we make as individuals, but things seem to get in our way, but on our own terminology, we'll let somebody else deter what we do. And I I've said this before, and some understand it and some don't. You cannot fully live your life for other people. You have to, in some way, shape, or form, live your life for yourself. So if you have dreams and ambitions and things of that nature, for instance, if you want to write a book, you want to become a therapist, you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, everything is going to seem this big when you start out. It's going to seem huge because you're looking at the pieces of the puzzle as a finished puzzle when you haven't even laid the corner edges yet. And a lot of people, they get deterred by how big an item is or how big a dream is because it scares them. There's nothing wrong with fear as long as you don't let fear control you. When you have something that you want to do in your life and you make a decision to do it, okay, there are hidden costs involved. There are hidden, what I call pitfalls involved that you're not going to see. And the problem with a pitfall or somebody telling you you can't do it, it's too hard, it's too big. I've seen this happen so many times that before somebody else, I just I want to be straight and on the path that I want to be on. But remember that nobody can pull you from your path but you. And I love this comment by Angie. It's so true. Time is not to be wasted. Time is precious. Never should be taken for granted. But the problem with time is so many people treat it like it's endless. And come June, that's going to happen, Kim. So we're getting there. Got to wait a little longer, but it's coming. I That's the thing about dreams. When dreams become reality, when they're in between that state, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. You're not dreaming big enough. And What stops us often dead in our tracks, disability or not, is fear. Everything revolves around what everybody else is going to think. But when I did my CP Does Not Define Me back a while ago, I did a show on when you're down in the trenches and when you're battling, when you're going through something, those people that told you you couldn't do it, are they down there battling with you? Are they in your corner? Are they supporting you? Are they lifting you up? Are they putting you where you need to be? Or are they one of those people that is sucking the ever living life out of your dream? And you got to remember, these people, it's not that they're intentionally trying to suck the life out of your dream. And then again, maybe they are. Maybe they want what you have. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe their whole life they've done nothing but sit on their ass with their finger in their nose, and they're trying to be where you are. The problem with that dream is it's nobody else's. It's got to be yours from the time that you start till the time that you've accomplished it. Now, my book that I'm writing right now, we're just about finished with chapter 6. As a matter of fact, we are finished with chapter 6. Living with CP and breaking through barriers, living with cerebral palsy. I've had to put everything on hold because the person that I'm working with is in the middle of recovery. Okay, I didn't expect that to happen, but it's happened. So what I'm doing is I'm adapting, and she's worried because her recovery is taking longer than she thought it should take. So she's going, oh, if you want to find somebody else to work with, I understand. Da, 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 da. I said, no. I said, take the time that you need, recover with what you need to recover with, and everything's going to be okay. We'll pick back up in June, which is fine. This is the point that I want to make with this video. There are things in life. Life is going to throw you curveballs every damn day. Okay? You can stand into the plate and swing, or you can crowd it and get hit in the face. Okay? In life, you're going to have sucky days. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have gloomy days. You're going to have days where you don't know or you don't feel like anything is progressing. But as long as this is putting effort toward making your dream come true, you're moving in the right direction. Now, there's 2 comments here that I want to read because I like them both. And actually, I want to. So many people say we have forever. No, we don't. We only have the time the Lord gave us. It's so important to live each day to the fullest. Okay? Now, Cindy, I like what she said here. Those kinds of people are just waiting for you to fail. But then if you do succeed, they're really shocked to see that. I think there's a 2-parter there. I think part of that is they want to be where you are, and they're upset that they didn't get there, so they're going to try to step in your spotlight. Okay? I go back, and this is something simple. My mom, we used to have family dinner on Sundays. My job was to help set the table, peel potatoes, whatever I could do to help mom out for Sunday dinner when Nanny and Pop would come over and we would eat together as a family. Okay? Nobody wants to help with the prep. Okay? You peel the potatoes, you score the chicken, you season the chicken, you get your hands dirty making chicken salad, you do all this stuff. Okay? And then the cooking time comes, and when that's over, everybody wants to eat because the food smells good. I want to apply this to your dream in a reference that the only way I know how. Okay? A great man that has great things and has achieved greatness, in my opinion, I've said this many times. This is his statement. The previews of your mind are the coming attractions of your life. And here's the kicker. Nobody can see those coming attractions but you. Those coming attractions that are here that no one else knows about, those are your dreams. Until you write them out, until you get them on paper, until you have them written down to where you can see them and they become goals and you start working toward them, those dreams are stored in your imagination. And here's the kicker where everybody gets tripped up. It's your imagination in your life, so you can see it, but yet you can also let someone else tell you you can't do it. Now, I want you to think about this now. The last time I checked, the only individual that has the key to our own individual minds are ourselves. But yet we will let somebody else into our head and destroy what we've got before we've even set the foundation to make a great plan. And I love this because I remember this so well, and I'm going to get to this comment in just a minute, Angie. That's a well said. I work with Winnie Wilson. I have for many years now, and Miss Winnie is able to see potential in such a way that it's not only potential, but it's progression. And I want to point this out. Be careful when you get comfortable, because when you get comfortable, you get complacent. Okay? Comfort often leads to complacency. And when you are trying to achieve great things and make your dreams a reality, be careful with complacency, because that will make you seem like you have more time than you do. Exactly. Life is going to happen. So roll with it, but make sure and touch the lives of those you love, regardless what darts life throws. So many say when things calm down, but life is not going to stop. Don't miss out by waiting for things to calm down. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you've got to grab life by the balls and just go. Okay? That's not the greatest way to say it. Okay? I'm not going to get an Academy Award for saying grab life by the balls and go. Okay? I'm not worried about physical achievement and trophy. Okay? What I want us to do as a people is stop judging ourselves before we start. Stop looking at ourselves and saying, I can't do this because it's too big. Stop letting other people control our lives and tell us we can't, we won't, or we never will, because they didn't, because they were too lazy to try and get off their ass and do what they needed to do. But yet they want to sit there and pull you down and say you can't do it because they didn't achieve it. The only person that can stop you from achieving your dreams is you. Now, I want to point this out. I said, what is stopping you from living your life and each day of your life to the fullest? From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, to where everything happens, to where every moment that is pacified by day, by second, by minute, by hour, day by day, week by week, which makes time. Everything that we do involves time. Okay? Time doesn't stop. Bills don't stop. Taxes don't stop. Everything flows. But when we get caught by other people, when we get knocked over or shoved off our path just a little bit, Some of us get uprooted. Some of us get disciplined by other people when those other people have no business saying anything about what we want to do. I mentioned the other people in the trenches with you earlier. Okay. When you go through something, there are the understanders, there are the motivators, and then there are the people that say, I've been there and I can relate. Okay. Somebody can tell you, I was so poor, I didn't have a pot to piss in. Okay. But if you've been through that, unless you've been through that, you don't know where they are in their life cycle right now. What they're going through can be totally different than you. Okay. But someone can say, I can relate to that because this happened to me, and it's a little bit different. Maybe they can, and maybe you can see some wisdom in what they're saying. Nothing is too big. Everything is possible when the Lord is for you. Who can be against you? Absolutely no one. It's very true. But the problem is we get so concerned about what other people who are not really involved with us are thinking. We become so self-centered around their opinion that somehow or another, going through our dream, it stops being our dream and it starts being theirs because they take over. Remember, this is not their life. This is not the person that's telling you you can't, you won't, you shouldn't, don't do this. This is not their life. I will offer my opinion, but the person that is on their path, they're going to do what they want to do. It's their choice. It's their choice. And I think what's amazing, hey Crystal, thank you for joining us. What's amazing about people is how easily people are influenced by words with no action. Let me say that again. What's amazing about people is how people are influenced by words with very little action. I've been a radio host now for almost 5 years. I'm writing a book. I teach martial arts. I manage 3 YouTubes. I have all of these things that I do daily, okay, as well as manage my CP and manage the trials and tribulations that go with CP, and have those days where I can't move and everything hurts and I'm so tired that I can't keep my eyes open. But then there are days like this when I come in, I say, I really want to do this video, but I don't want other people to just get in the way. Well, to tell you the truth, before other people can get in the way, folks, we've got to get out of the way of ourselves. And I want to mention that because this is something that people forget. People forget to get out of their own way. Just because you stumble when you're making a dream come true doesn't mean that you can't catch yourself and rebound. Crystal, great comment right here. When that happens with people, they want to tear you down. It then becomes brilliantly apparent what they are about. It does not take long to find out a person's true colors. It does not take long to find out whether someone is quiet and listening or whether someone is talking so much about nothing. People are focused on what they want. How long has it been since you were focused on what you want? See, in order to make your dream a reality, and in order for you to do what you need to do, your choice is simple. Stay on the path that you're on and do what you need to do, or get derailed and distracted by someone else that's not helping you. In reality, what they're doing is pulling you down. And it may not seem at first like they're pulling you down. You know, I mentioned Miss Winnie earlier, and I have to mention her again. When you have somebody that loves you really, that is in your corner regardless, that is with you, that works with you. Let me mention this too. There's a difference in working for somebody and working with somebody. I don't have a boss. Miss Winnie is not my boss. Miss Winnie is my friend, and she works with me. We work with each other. Do I do what she says? Yes, but she also does what I say too, and we bounce and we feed off of each other. When you have somebody that works with you and that is down in the trenches in life's up and down days like this, it makes life easier to go through. Look at that, and mention her name, and there she is. Didn't even know she was on here. I love it because she said something to me the other day, and I think that's kind of what prompted me to do this video. Just because someone doesn't say anything to you does not mean they're not watching what you're doing. Let me say this again. Just because someone doesn't say something to you on your personal feed doesn't mean they're not paying attention to what you're doing. Hey, Susie. I learned so much from Winnie and her family, the Wilson family, but I also learn about myself in my own processes of how I deal with things. There are times I'll be having a day, and the first thing I want to do is hear Miss Winnie's voice, because I know that voice, and I know what direction she's going. I know that she's going to speak positively into my life. And that's something about your dreams right there. Speak positivity into your dreams. Don't speak negativity in there, because when you do that, you're stunting your dreams' growth. You know, you look at your life as a planted seed in good soil. Okay? I've said this before, and I mentioned Miss Winnie a lot, because in almost everything I do, especially when I'm on the air like this, especially when I do shows or I do videos or pop-ups, and Miss Winnie's name comes out of my mouth, it is because she has made a positive interaction in my life, because she does her very best not to allow negativity into her life, because negativity is a weed, and if you're not careful, negativity will suffocate the life out of your dreams, much like people will. I have heard her say this, and I almost have this, like, or want this posted on my wall, because it's so true. So many people will comment on something on social media just to comment on it and be part of the conversation. You're welcome. Then be part of the conversation because they think they have to be. When Edwina Wilson speaks, and when Corey Wilson speaks, and when Kelly speaks, and when that family speaks, people listen. because the words that come out of their mouth are not negative. They are building blocks to the foundation of what needs to be done. When we as a people can stop looking at what everybody else cares about and what we truly want, that's when our lives start making sense. The thing about this lady, and I know you're going, well, you're talking about Miss Winnie a lot. What about your life? She's in my life because God deemed her to be. Okay? This is the most godly woman I have ever met in my entire freaking life. I'm going to tell you now, her affirmation coming from the connection between human and God, okay? And I'm being very basic here. I learned very early that Miss Winnie's conversations with God are powerful because of what she's been through. But if God takes you to it, he's going to get you through it. I said that in North Carolina, and it was something about, you know, these things that have happened recently. Miss Winnie trusts me, but I also trust her in the sense of everything that I do is a representation of her, and everything that she does is a representation of me. We represent each other so well because Miss Winnie is an uplifter. She has been an uplifter because she's been down. See, when you have somebody that's been down and hit rock bottom that knows truly what rock bottom is, you're able to kind of grasp that thought of, can I get up from this? And she said, you know, at times I didn't know where I was or where I was going. When God told me to move, I moved. And particularly, God doesn't always yell. Sometimes you have to sit down, shut up, be still, and know that he is God. And when he says go, you better go, because your butt's going to be protected. But see, you've got to see that. Now, how does this incorporate into our dreams? Because God's been telling us something for so long, but we're so busy listening to other people that we're not listening to him. And this is what 27 minutes and 45 seconds of something can do to make you understand, or to help you understand the influence of the Wilson family. I will, sometimes when I have trouble sleeping, I will call Miss Winnie just to have her calm me. And I don't even have to say anything. I say, Miss Winnie, I'm going through it. And she's, I know, I can hear it. You know, and it's not what she says or the advice that she gives or how she gives it. It's that total, I've got you. It's that total moment of, listen, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. I don't have a lot of people that I reference as life impactors. But Corey and Winnie and Kelly and, you know, all the grandkids and you know, life impactors. I'm part of that family. I've been part of that family because I was brought in. And when you butt heads with somebody because you're wrong and you make a mistake and you realize that you're wrong, and she'll butt heads and realize where she's wrong, and she can say, listen, I didn't like the way I handled that. I was wrong. Okay? I'm a little more stubborn, takes me a little more time. But when you come to realize hindsight is 2020, and Corey Wilson taught me that, and I've known it. But when you grasp a hold of something, hey, Miss Betsy, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. When you grasp a hold of something and your dream becomes a reality, See, what a lot of you, some of you know and some of you don't, Miss Wilson has that effect. Very calming, very comforting. My dreams are becoming realities because of Edwina Wilson, because she is giving me the opportunity to work with her and to expand. Now, watch this, expand my comfort zone. I told you earlier, be careful with comfort because comfort sometimes offers complacency. And when we get complacent, we get way too comfortable in our own little spot. Never, never. However, people's struggles should not be valued, should not be ignored or devalued. Now, the only problem is you can't stay in a struggle. There are so many people, and again, Miss Wilson, y'all are going to hear me mention that name probably more times than I care to mention. Shelly says you can be there, but you can't stay there. Okay, you can't stay in a struggle because the struggle is only going to last for a time. It may seem like it lasts a long time. It may seem like it lasts a long way. It may seem like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but I promise you, if you hang with it, let me give you an example, and I want to do this because I don't think Miss Winnie would mind me sharing this. I've been up here 30 minutes already. I want to end in just a couple, but we recently did an event with Miss Minnie Barnes for CP awareness and Walk with Mommy, Walk with Daddy for cerebral palsy, which was a great event down in North Carolina. And I was asked to be one of the keynote speakers of that event. Well, the other keynote speaker had something happen and wasn't able to show up. So I was one of the keynote speakers there. And we were supposed to leave at 7 o'clock. I was up at 6 because we were going to leave at 7. And man, I'm up at 6 and I'm dressed and I'm ready to go. And something happened because Miss Winnie wasn't feeling well, and she'd been dealing with a sinus infection and then this, that, and the other, and she didn't get much sleep last night, and I was hot, man. I was like, man, I'm ready to go. So I'm calling her and I'm trying to get a hold of her, and she's out. Miss Winnie is out. She's asleep. And it's like, I don't know, it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock when I heard from her, and she's like, DJ, I'm so sorry. I've been dealing with this sinus infection, told me what happened and all this. And I'm like, you know what, Miss Winnie is fine. I'm going to go get me some breakfast and are we still going? Yeah, we're going to get there. And the thing about it is I was so worried about the timing of us being late that everything worked out exactly the way it was supposed to work out because I was with them. Everybody arrived and started getting there after the Wilsons. Now I want you to think about something because Miss Winnie just said this, and I think this applies. You don't want to stay in a struggle. Life happens, but you don't stay there. I think that was supposed to be pick yourself up and keep going. You have to keep going. You cannot stay in a moment of depression, despair, fear, anger, because it doesn't do anything for you or your dream. Now, I want to finish on this because so many of you have stayed with me through this whole broadcast. I love the fact that when we got there were people in that little room. And that room didn't seem so little once we got, 20, 30, 40 people. And that food started cooking. So you start cooking some of that North Carolina food and the smell drifts out, you're going to get some folks in the building. I'm going to tell you. Cause me, I ordered 5 plates. That was the best $50 I ever spent in my life. I'm not even lying. I had dinner for 5 days. Okay, look, timing is everything. But let me say this, just as sweet and respectful as I can. Don't focus so much on your time that you think you have to be. Seek God and see when He wants you to be. See, I had to learn that day because the anger very quickly dissipated when I realized Miss Winnie wasn't feeling well. I I immediately became more concerned than angry. Okay, because I said, wait a minute, she's still driving down here and she don't feel good. This has got to be a powerful message. And Josh was with us, and I've known Josh since I was 12 years old. And there's nothing better than God's timing. I didn't just speak once at that conference. I spoke twice. And in that, I met one of the apostles and one of the pastors and apostles of the church that go to a church in North Carolina that were very, very influential in, let's just say, what was supposed to happen happened. And I would not trade one moment of that event. And we're coming back, and we stop at a gas station, and I had asked Mr. Wilson for a pack of plain M&Ms. Now, understand that I don't ask for things. I asked Josh if he wanted something, and I gave money for gas, because we used Josh's van to go up there. And Mr. Wilson went in the first time and he looked for the plain M&Ms for me, and the first thing he saw was the peanut M&Ms. And I really wasn't in the mood for peanut. I wanted the plain. So he goes back in and he looked one more time, and they were somewhere that he didn't expect them to be. Anyway, he found them, and I ended up getting what I wanted. But the dedication to try to please people is good. But when you have people that work with you, like the Wilsons, that are in your corner, that are there to support you and get you through those times when you think maybe things aren't going the way they were supposed to. I can remember early in my talk show days, I was so concerned about numbers and when I had to be on time and I could never be late and I had to be right here. The schedule had to be followed, and you got to be right on the money about where you got to be and how you got to be. And sometimes you just got to go that way. And Miss Wilson again told me something that has stuck with me to this very day. Stop worrying about numbers, because you the people that are supposed to be there are going to be there. Josh spoke very, 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 very well. And he had spoke before, but there's 2 comments here. Sometimes we tend to jump to conclusions out of frustration instead of seeing what's going on first. You did great. Patience is a virtue. Josh spoke too and did very well also. Y'all, it was awesome. 2 people that understand the CP journey. So many people are stuck in their opinion of the timetable they set for someone else, for our personal lives. The person is often doing exactly what God has shown them on His timetable. And the amazing thing of what this is about, see, being at these events, every time Miss Wilson goes somewhere, for anything CP, I'm trying to get in there. Because when you can get the word out, see, I never realized, it took me a long time to realize when I started working with her that my dreams were becoming realities very quick, very quick. Things were happening, but I've always been able to speak, but God has given me the gift to present a story that people can relate to. And I'm emotional, when I get speaking, the tears will come, the sweat will come, the laugh will come because I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's just who and what I am. But in the same sense of being this type of person, this is who God has molded me into and God has allowed me to be. And the same thing that I said in North Carolina when Miss Winnie was up there with us. Until you speak in a room full of people about cerebral palsy and you're a mother or a father or take care of someone with cerebral palsy or take care of someone that needs 24-hour care because they have to have it. I did. I had to pull it all out, but it was needed, and I think what God does, and you got to understand this too, is God doesn't just use perfect people. You don't have to be in the $30,000 sports car and in the Armani suit with the gold rings on your fingers. You can wear a t-shirt and jeans and deliver a message. And Miss Winnie always taught me dress for success because of the business ventures that she's in and what she has, in the books for us and on the table for us. But I checked before we went, very casual, and I still dressed, you know, even casual, but up casual because that's exactly where I was going. In the message, we spoke. There was a lot of godly people in that room, and I said, God tells us to come as we are, and if we do that, it's so much easier. It's so much easier to be true to yourself when you come as you are because you can't hide what's in your heart. You can try to you 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 can try to change it. You can try to dress it up, dress it down, but you can't hide what's in your heart. And I think that's what working with the Wilsons has been able to empower in me. I think that's one of the greatest words that describes Edwina Wilson and the Wilson family is empowering because they empower people even when the person doesn't realize that they're doing it. I haven't spoken for an hour in almost a month on Facebook Live because I'm going through a lot right now. And not a lot of people know this, but to empower somebody and the random pop-ups that Miss Winnie does and the Wilsons do, I've learned it's not so much about a schedule. A schedule is a good thing, but being random and being real, there's a reality in random. There's a reality in randomness, and I think if Miss Wilson has taught me anything, is be true to yourself. And when you know that you've got, thank you so much. When you know that you've got a message to deliver, take your time and chew on the fat of the message a little bit before you get it out there because everything is not for everybody on social media. You know, and I said this to Miss Wilson just the other day, and as we end, I want y'all to think about something. If someone has not talked to you on social media for months, and all of a sudden they come on your Facebook or your Instagram or your whatever, your Twitter, your YouTube, and all of a sudden they comment on something and then they start talking to you like they ain't lost a step. Ask yourself this question. Where were you when I was going through what I was going through? Thank you, Betsy. I really appreciate that. And that's why I do this for the people. It's not for me. I realized very early on when I started 5 years ago, Lord have mercy, it don't seem like 5 years ago now, but I've had a microphone in my hand since I was 3 years old. I never realized that talking would get me where I am now and start blessing other people. You know, it's so real now to hear myself say, I'm just a vessel that God uses to get his message out. Because God gives it to me. I'm not coming up here with. I never have cue cards or notes. I very rarely have cue cards or notes unless I'm working with Miss Winnie and she wants me to remember something, which I don't have a problem doing. I can remember every story she's ever told. I and and see, and I guess this is the last part I want to cover. I know I said we were going to end, but when you get spiritually fed on something, okay, when Miss Winnie speaks, a lot of times you get mentally nourished when she speaks. Sometimes you just laugh your ass off because what she said is so damn funny, but a lot of times you'll get mentally nourished when she speaks, and you it sticks. It's like sauce on ribs, that you just. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot. I appreciate that. I and that's what I love doing. Reaching people on this level where it means something and it grabs a hold of them and they go, "Wait a minute, this is what I needed to hear." This is when these messages happen, they're for somebody. They're about somebody. They're with somebody today. So you've got to take those nutritious parts that you get, and you've got to hold on to them because those niblets of smackerelness, I'm going to call it, when it hits you and it sticks with you, you can't stop. And I notice when Miss Winnie's telling a story, even if it's one I've heard before, I'll stop and listen. I agree with this, Miss Wilson. No, DJ, sometimes it's okay to have someone do that and not be there when you're going through it or feel like you need them or wish you had them showed up. In that time of need, every situation is not for everyone. I truly believe God will send the right person, the person you need, the persons that you did not expect. God knows God God knows who will be the light for you in the time of need. I agree with that because he knows what's going on all the time, and that's why they say God is good all the time. But I don't want to come to him just for the big. I don't want to come to him just for the big stuff either. I want to be thankful for the little stuff, the small accomplishments that happen, because the small ones are the stepping stones to the big ones, and I think that's the piece of I guess reality that that is that is true. We often wait to go to God for something to be so big, but you can go to God anytime little. There's nothing too small, nothing that he can't, that he doesn't want to hear from you. You know, but I get that, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. But again, I think you have to be careful who you speak to, because not everybody is there to help you. There are people that are going to try to take what you've got and try to tear you down. There are people that are going to tell you we're here for you when they're really not. All they want is what you've got. And I thank God every day for people like the Wilson family that have helped me to spread my wings and fly into different, destinations and different things. And um, organizations. I've gotten so many. I got so far out of my comfort zone that I don't even think I really have a comfort zone anymore, because I'm doing so much, but I could always do a little more. So, I just wanted to come up here and say this: live your life to the fullest, because you really don't know how much longer you have left. Live each day like it's your last, and give it your all. And most of all, dream big. We've talked about it at the beginning of the show. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And remember, they're your dreams. They start out here. Your imaginations have the coming attractions of your life. And if you can imagine them and see them, how can you allow someone else to take them away? Because they're in your memory bank, not mine. They're in your mind, not mine. Find the uplifters, the motivators, the ones that are there for you, the ones that will push you in the right direction, the ones that will show you you can do more, the ones that will make you mad a little bit and say, try this, and try this. And you look at them like they lost their mind. They're going to make you succeed in ways and help you to succeed in ways that you didn't know possible. Don't worry about numbers. God will provide who he needs to provide when he needs to provide them, and the people that are supposed to be there will be there. So, guys, look forward to My CP Does Not Define Me, coming back Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Starting, I'm going to say the middle of April. We're getting some guests lined up. Thank you guys for tuning in with me today. I'm so glad that I was able to do this, and everything worked out. And I'm glad that Miss Winnie was on here. I didn't even know she was on here. I'm just talking up a storm, and she's just listening. You never know who is watching. You never know who is listening. Just because they don't say anything does not mean they're not paying attention to what you're saying. Words are powerful. Words are impactful. And words can also do a lot of damage. Thank you. Betsy, it's so glad to have you. And I appreciate you being here. All of the guests that were up here today and our commenters, thank you guys. But again, it'll be probably around, I would say, the 15th of April. I'm trying to get some things lined up, get my new planner. We've got the room finished now. Got the divorce finished today. Got everything is done. So everything has gone through, and we're all done with everything that we need to do, and got the living room the way I want it. And Emily is working on her room, and things are just progressing very well. So looking forward to a great spring break, and getting ready to start karate training here within the next week or so again. So just remember that we are working toward that, and bear with me, because I've got to get my guests lined up, and there's a lot going on. But thank you for those that have stuck with me, and that have reached out to me about being on the show. And I will get to you. I know if it seems like I don't, I have a lot of guests that email and think that just because they email me, they're going to be on the show. That's not the case. I've got to go through and interview them and find out about their story before, I can put them on the show. But If you're interested on being on the show, My CP Does Not Define Me, that's 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can email me at mycpdoesnotdefineme@yahoo.com, and we will get to you. If you would do me a favor, send me a picture of yourself that you would like me to use, and a little bit of a bio. I don't need 3 or 4 pages. I just need a paragraph or two about your journey and what you would like to talk about, and give me a chance to reach out to you, because I have several new folks that are asking to be on the show and trying to come on. Some of those that have never been on. A lot of the folks that have been on before have wanted, thank you, Miss Winnie, have wanted to, come back on. I do want to get the new people on first to give them a chance to share something fresh and that has been unplanted. So we want to get that in there so that it can actually grab a hold of the soil and get rooted into someone's life. So as I say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. I'm D to the J with a roll away. Look for me this middle of the month for My CP Does Not Define Me, starting in the middle of April. And I will be updating you soon and letting you know when the show is actually going to start. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a great and wonderful evening. Thank you guys.